If there were rankings for press conferences, I wouldn't have to worry about dropping out of the top 5, I hope.
Who do I think's going to win? Not me.
I get to laugh at some of your questions too, so you know, you're not getting all the fun stuff. I respect him. I think he respects me. We always have a good laugh when we see each other in the locker room, and I try to push him over and injure him. I've told him before I'd love to hate you, but you're really nice.
And now he is one of us. Welcome to the family here at Tennis Channel. Andy Roddick joining us right now. We saw you have a floor director there that has set up the routine for you. Got your makeup done, your lighting, all that stuff. How are things going for you?
All good, man. I know it's a weird time. I know we're no different than the rest of the country right now. We're kind of locked down, and what a unfortunate set of circumstances we're in. But it's a great time to talk some tennis and kind of get back into it. So I'm excited to be here with you all.
You asked for a job. Paul approved your resume. You're set to go now Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays with us through April here on Tennis Channel Live. This week, Andy, as you've been watching, we're doing the 100 greatest players of all time, a list that we made at the end of the 2011 season. You were on that list at 94. What do you think about the whole GOAT conversation?
Frankly, I mean, when it pertains to, Serena and the women's side, and that's a little clearer. There seems to be this need to discuss the greatest of all time on the men's side. And frankly, at this point, I think it's kind of dumb. It'd be like handing out Oscars before you watch the endings of a movie. It just doesn't really make much sense. And if you say one person, then the other two people feel disrespected. It's just too early. And before it all plays out, at a certain point, someone will say, who do you think is going to finish with the all-time lead? And I'm going, okay, I'm either guessing or I'm obviously a medical professional and I can predict injuries from here on out. So, listen, I just think we're lucky to still have Novak, Roger, and Rafa still in the game. Hopefully Murray gets back into it. But it's premature, and I know everyone likes to go to this conversation nonstop. But, I just think it's too early, and there's too much wasted breath on it at this point.
Andy, one of the things that I always struggle with is, when we talk about this, I really have a hard time comparing the eras because the game changes so much. And, one of my philosophies is I just think that all-time greats, if they're in the conversation, probably if they played in those different eras, they would find ways to play and adapt to those situations. When you look at the different eras and combine it, how do you feel about that stuff?
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think something that kind of gets undersold a little bit is you have a guy that just popped into my mind was Andre Agassi. And, he's 3 in the world in 1988 and somehow found a way through the Luxilon era and through kind of the fitness era that Courier and Lendl kind of helped bring in. And he kind of problem solved throughout his career and had great success through over a long period of time, and now that's kind of become the norm. We talk about the top 3 guys now, and you run out of superlatives and you run out of adjectives to explain how insane it is to play at the level they've played at for so long. I mean, Pete was one of the best players of all time, and Paul, by the way, I like working with you like this as opposed to you sitting in Peter Rogers' box and judging me for 4 hours at a time. But, when you look at Pete, he would win, a slam a year, 2 slams on a good year, but he would still lose sometimes. He would still lose 3rd round, 4th round. These guys make the semis every time. It's insane.
Okay, Andy, you stepped away. 2012
ahead,
U.S. Open. Novak,
Yeah.
I think at that time, had 5 Grand Slams. Did you think that it'd be possible to get to 17 and now possibly get into the 20s if he keeps playing and stays healthy?
I don't think anyone who says someone can get from 5 to 20 something is lying to you. I just don't think that's a conversation that seems real. I feel like these guys are almost playing Xbox sometimes with the way they go about their business. But I will tell you something, and it may be a relevant story with kind of the news of the Olympics recently. But I remember 2012 at the Olympics, I played Novak's 2nd round. I was unseeded, but had won a couple weeks before and had won 2 out of the last 3 tournaments I played in. So I was feeling great. I felt like Wimbledon was a place where I could still maybe catch lightning in a bottle, make a bit of a run. Felt great in practice that week. Went out second round. And Novak was someone who I had a decent record against to that point. And he beat me like a drum. I was like a child on the court, and I didn't play that. I walked off the court. I lost 2-2 on grass, right? Served average, and that's it's not a good thing for me to serve average against Novak. But walked off the court and go, I'm going to go out tomorrow and feel like I'm playing well. He just beat me like a drum, and that was one of the first times. The U.S. Open was a couple months later, obviously, but that was one of the first times where I'm going, this game is getting a little bit different than what I've been used to. These guys are playing, they're kind of from another planet right now, and that one kind of hit home for me. The way he was playing in that moment was eye-opening.
Hey, Andy, one of the things I've always had a hard time trying to measure and explain kind of quantitatively, the difference between very good and great, the difference to be able to execute in semis and finals of majors. You've been there, you've done it. Is there a way to categorize it clearly?
I don't think so. I think one of the biggest things, Paul, is making sure you get to the semis consistently, maybe not having your best stuff over the first week or 10 days. Serena's won 10 majors where she hasn't been playing great in the first week and has kind of worked her way into it. So I think the greatness with a lot of times lies in the fact that the guys put themselves in position over and over and over and over. You think of someone like Jimmy Connors doing that also. Conversely to Pete, who, semis and finals of a slam, you feel like he was more likely to pull the trigger and hit a 128, second serve ace. He kind of had that built for the moment thing, but I think there are different ways. I think they're the guys who just got there all the time and then kind of figured it out on the back end. But consistency matters. You cannot lie over the course of a 2-week best of 5 set, best of 3 set for the women. You can't lie over the course of 2 weeks. And so it really does kind of bear out any equalizers.
Last couple of years, just curious, how much tennis have you been watching? Who's your favorite player to watch play these days?
I don't watch too much. Andreescu, I know she's been hurt. She is exciting to watch. Bianca Andreescu. I loved watching her last summer. She kind of brings you in. It's like she makes it a little bit of a street fight. She's happy. She's sad. She's angry. You can not know anything about tennis and tune into her and feel like you know what's going on, feel like you're recognizing someone doing really outstanding things. She's one of my favorites. I like watching Felix Auger-Aliassime on the men's side. I think he's got a huge upside. It seems like he has kind of easy power. He doesn't look like he's swinging out of his shoes, yet the ball comes out heavy. I feel like he's still 6'3", 190, and he still looks kind of awkward and skinny, which means he's going to be an animal at some point. So there's a lot of really fun things to watch. Coco Gauff is amazing. I got the opportunity to spend a couple of we played in a couple exhibitions last year, and I hadn't met her before then. And it's a weird thing to see a 15-year-old. Maybe she turned 16. I don't know, but a 15-year-old at that moment just as comfortable in a room full of people her own age as she is with 60-year-olds. It was amazing, her kind of social IQ and navigating between the two. I was really impressed with her.
We do always hear about that maturity with Coco Gauff. Once again, Andy Roddick will be joining us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on Tennis Channel Live for the next 5 weeks. Andy, you talk about some of the players that you like watching. We all know you're the last American man to win a Grand Slam singles title. It's been a long time, 17 years. You're good friends with Marty Fish, who I think asked you for like $30 million a couple days ago or something like that. You couldn't give him that, but he's now the Davis Cup captain. Who do you think could be the next guy?
Marty was trying to buy the dip. I don't know. I like what I've seen from Opelka. One of the most kind of gritty. You like to kind of see those gritty, uncomfortable moments where it's not just guys winning matches because they're playing well that day.